If you want to stay up to date with all current hip hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to become part of this community.
So I know I'm dropping a lot of J. Cole videos these days, but it's just because it's about to be that season. The off season is dropping this Friday, May 14th, and we're just getting so much information right now in the forms of all different types of, mediums that he's putting it out in. And there's one specific thing that I want to talk about, which is his retirement, something that he had been hinting at for some time now. He's, back on Major Key DJ Khaled on Jermaine's Interlude. That's when he first, proposed that idea after 2014 Forest Hills Drive of retirement. In the meantime, of course, we got For Your Eyes Only, we got KOD, we got Revenge of the Dreamers and all that. So, he wasn't about to be done. But especially in this new documentary that we got for the off season, which is called Applying Pressure, but then also a new article that Cole did for Slam, which he was the cover for their new issue. He did a very long and very interesting interview for it. I'll have it linked in the description. I really recommend you go check it out. It's a very interesting read. And in that interview, he goes into a lot of, the same themes that he also mentioned in the documentary, and I kind of want to talk about that. So the whole kind of concept behind the off season is that Cole realized that he had gotten comfortable with his position in the rap game, with just his level of success. He's just kind of been relaxing on what he had achieved so far. But then he kind of remembered back to the days when he was about to get signed, he was about to drop the warm-up, and he kind of found parallels between the two, and he remembered that back then he was like, oh, I'm not working hard enough. If in 10 years I'll look back and say I didn't make it in rapping because I didn't put the work in, is that really something that I want and that I could live with? And that's when he decided to, go full in on music, because the same thing had happened to him with basketball. He always thought he was going to make the NBA growing up in his teenage years, and all of a sudden he's 21, and the reason why, he's not going anywhere is because he's just not putting in the work, like other players who then eventually, went on to achieve great things did. And that's kind of where he found the parallels between basketball and rapping for him. Of course, that Slams article is heavily basketball influenced, but it's still very interesting to kind of see Cole's perspective on this. And this is kind of where that motivation for the offseason, came from. Because Cole said, oh, okay, I'm gonna, kind of focus again. He said he was just, allowing himself to do normal things, sitting around, playing video games, watching TV, something that he hadn't allowed himself to do prior to the release of a 2014 Forest Hills Drive, because for a decade he was just working and getting the most out of his music career as possible. And not to say that that's a bad thing, because this has allowed him to get to the level that he's at and be recognized as one of the best rappers of this generation, and that's exactly what he had wanted. But of course it comes with a sacrifice. And then after 2014 Forest Hills Drive, he allowed himself to settle down, become a bit more civilized, and kind of, live a normal life again. Also in connection with his family, his newborn kids and all that. But then he kind of, realized, oh, in 10 years, if I look back on this situation right now, did I really give it all that I had? Did I put everything out there that's in me? And that's when we realized, oh, not yet. And that's why he's doing the off season. He is talking very highly about this project. He says that this is really him, sharpening his skills. I find it very interesting how he talks about, treating rap as a sport. Again, the parallel to basketball, saying that, nowadays in this era of, working on the off season, he said that he got up and he just, did it like a drill. He wrote verses, he made beats, and treated it like a workout, which I think is very interesting, and that's something that I have not seen a lot of artists talk about, and I think that's a very interesting way to approach this, and I think it's very commendable, because he also, in this article, he goes into, he's not doing it for the money, he's not doing it just for fun, but he's like, oh, I really want to give it all I got while I'm here, which I think is very commendable, as I said. He also said that a lot of, your favorite rappers, so, kind of talking about hip-hop in general, That's like the crossroad where they're at, where they get comfortable. They don't have the same hunger that they used to have back when they were coming up anymore. And this is where like the crossroad is, and where it kind of splits and divides. And he doesn't want to go that road of just becoming civilized and not, looking back and realizing not having it given his all. And that's something that, of course, everyone can apply to their own lives, but I think it's interesting to see Cole say this in music. So this is another reason why I'm very excited for the off season, kind of seeing how this represents that mindset that Cole is in and seeing how this connects to his career as a whole. I think this will be a very interesting piece in his discography just because it was made in this stage of like, yo, this is like the one of my last times that I can give it my all, and before he then, retires. And that's another thing that I want to talk about real quick because that's where I was leading this whole thing towards. He talks about retirement too in this new article. He says that he's very comfortable with the idea of retiring as long as he knows that he's given it his all. And he says that there's of course an album coming, It's a Boy. He confirmed that this is an album in the documentary, so we know that this is likely going to be that Kill Edward album that we're getting. He also said that the Fall Off is still coming, and that's like, he said he started working on the Fall Off when he first, started thinking about this concept of being at that crossroad and either going the route of, again, kind of sitting down and just sharpening his skills or falling off. So maybe the Fall Off will be his last album. That's kind of what he's hinting at right now. But he also said that he's never going to say that this or that album is going to be his last, because he says in 2 or 3 and 10 years, who knows if he ever gets the feeling again that he didn't give it his all, and then he'll come back, which of course we as Cole fans can be excited for. And I like that he's taking a very realistic approach to this, but still setting his goals very high. I'm excited for the off season. This represents like this whole process in Cole's mind, and I think we'll get to see a lot of that if he really pushes himself, if he really is like, yo, I'm going to give this my all, then we're about to get some greatness. It's very exciting to think about, the offseason dropping so soon and what this means now, having that background and seeing what this means in his career as a whole and in his mind and his mindset. So definitely I recommend you go check out that documentary, the offseason documentary, Applying Pressure, and also that Slam article that Cole did as like the cover story for it. It's called Now What, kind of, playing at that concept of, I've done it all, now what? So go check that out. Very interesting, very, very interesting if you're a Cole fan and want to get to see what Cole's mind state is at right now and what he's thinking going into the off season. So yeah, that's all I got to say about this. Very interesting. I hope you're excited for the off-season dropping on May 14th, this Friday. Let me know if you are. I'm very excited, and let me know your thoughts about this. Let me know in the comments down below.
If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media and blog down in the description. It really helps me out. Until the next one, y'all have an incredible day, and y'all take care.